Hello everybody, this is quixQuery here, and today we are back on the Hermitcraft server playing some more Hermit Pack. And things are going very well around here, and I have actually, I thought I was recording, and I was, but my microphone wasn't being picked up in the recording. And so we have done quite a bit of work since the last episode now, and so we are going to go over what's been done. Essentially, we made, and this is going to sound like a lot, but really it's a fairly simple concept, an indexed quantum storage system. Now, quantum storage is a mod, and it essentially adds two blocks, this one and then essentially the equivalent for liquids. And now this is essentially like a deep storage unit where you can insert items and take out stacks or individual items. And so we have all of these hooked up to an extra utilities 2 indexer. Now what this does is it reaches to all of the inventories in the connected transfer pipe system and is able to extract things remotely from this indexer right here. And so if we wanted, say, a stack of iron, then we could shift left click and it would start extracting a stack of iron, right? And we can actually extract multiple different stacks of stuff. Now there's also some Ender.io item conduits, and that is rather interesting, and that has to do with how we input items into the system. And so anyway, so where do we get the name from? Well, this is the indexer from extra utilities 2, right? Well, index. So it's an indexed storage system, right? And we're using quantum storage to store most of the stuff. And so it's an indexed quantum storage system. So this is our extraction point and our room for all of the storage and stuff. It'll be big, it'll expand off in that direction, and we will continue setting up the framework like this. And over here is the insertion point. And here we can just drop off a bunch of items in our reinforced storage crate right here, and I don't think iron ore has a spot in the system yet, and so it will end up in this crate right here because there aren't enough extra storage spots. But essentially, I'm going to walk you through what happens down here. And so they get extracted out of this and put into this medium storage crate, and this is just kind of a buffer to make sure that stuff gets pulled out of there as quick as it possibly can. And this will also be a place where we input other things like cobblestone from our generator, ores from our generator, so on and so forth, and eventually we'll actually hook up our ore processing to this, and so any ores that get put in will automatically be taken and processed, so that'll be pretty cool. But essentially we have transfer nodes extracting out of there and inserting into an ore dictionificator from Mechanism. Now, this is a pretty cool thing. It allows you to convert between different types of ingots and ores. And so if we look at, say, the tin ore, it's the ingot tin ore dictionary tag, and we can select which one of these we want to come out when a tin ingot is put in. And so we have that set at Industrial Craft 210 right now, and so that is pretty cool. And we have ingot steel, electrum, and you can do the different ores as well. Essentially, ores and ingots with the same ore dictionary tag, you put them in here, and you take them out here as the proper mods type. And so, yeah. Anyway, it has a priority of 0, which is the base priority, and down here we have a wooden storage crate for things that don't go into the ore dictionificator, and anything that won't go in there, essentially anything that isn't in those ore dictionary tags, will go into this thing, because that's the only other thing. But any of the things that can go into the ore dictionificator will, because this has a priority of -1 instead of 0. So anyway, that's how they go through there. They then get extracted and put into the storage system. And in order to avoid lag and large quantities of processing from one station right there, we've added a buffer right here, and that's just kind of like it has a priority of -1 on the insertion point as well. And so it'll try and put anything and everything into the quantum storage units before it goes to that chest right there. And so that will be that works pretty good, and then it just extracts it from there and brings it to the rest of the storage system. And we will probably end up having multiple buffer chests at different points in this thing, because this is going to be big. We still have a lot of items to do in there. But yeah, that's been going really well. And so what I want to do on camera for you guys, since the rest of the episode was kind of goofed up, and that's all my fault, but we can see over here that one of the other things we've done is we cleared out this chunk right here. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Eventually this path will come across the top of the dam right here and back over to right here and meet up with this. This will be an elevator shaft, or at least that's what my thought is right now, and it'll go up and down, you know, whole thing. It's an elevator shaft. Yeah, pretty simple idea. But I want to set up this cobblestone generator into our storage system right there. However, I want to do it in a special way. I want to do it so that every time this reaches a stack of cobblestone, it will then transfer that stack into the system. So it doesn't like just it's so there's not a constant backlog of cobblestone continuously trying to go through the thing. It'll just be every time this reaches a stack, some more cobblestone will come in. And so it's not like a continual processing of cobblestone. So we are going to take this up, and along with the, what's it called? Let's see here, what is it called? Lava and water. I can't think of those names for whatever reason right now. And we want to move this down into our area down here. Now, where do we want to put this? I don't know. This is something that can be easily moved though, so I'm probably not going to worry too much about where I'm putting this being a permanent solution. So we're just going to put this, how about right here for now? Awesome. Put that right there, water on one side, lava on the other, and then we attach our transfer node directly to the cobblestone right there. Awesome. Now, if we add our upgrade mining to that, it starts mining the cobblestone, and we can just put cobblestone in there, and it should get processed automatically. Awesome. Okay, so here we are. We got our cobblestone funneling into this chest right here, which is nice. And I was thinking originally that we would be using an item conduit with some sort of a filter or something on it. But I don't think the filters allow for the same stuff that some other mods can. And so what we're going to be doing, we're going to be trying a transfer node and pipe with a stack upgrade and seeing if that performs the function I want. So what are we trying to do? So essentially, every time this reaches a stack, we want it to take the stack out and put the stack into this chest right here. So this is not yet at a stack, and so it won't be taken out until it does reach a stack. And so, but once it does reach a stack, it'll be put into here. So there's not a constant flowing of cobble through the thing, and it has the time and ability to process other things. Okay, I should have everything we need now to see if this actually works. So this makes a upgrade stack, increases the number of items pulled to a stack, and we also want our transfer node put right there, the transfer pipe right there to connect it to that, and what we want to do is we want a upgrade stack That's not doing what I want it to. It's just pulling stuff out immediately. So I don't think this is going to work quite the way I want to, but what we can do is make something called an online detector, and only filter things through this system when it has a redstone signal. And so I've made these insulated redstone conduits. They should work pretty well for what we have to do here. And we can then connect that to, and we can actually, I think, no, there you go, okay. Connect that to the rest of this right here. Awesome. And now we just need to connect this up to a online detector, which we can place either right here or somewhere else. I think I'm actually going to place it right on top of that right there. And so now that requires, and we can see how this storage system works. Now, why on earth did I want to use this thing instead of a refined storage system? Well, that's a very good question. I guess I just figured that a refined storage system had been done a lot, and I wanted to do something unique and creative, and so that's what I did here. And so we got, yeah, a refined storage system. It's a bit expensive. It's been done a whole bunch of times before. This, however, is unique. It's not nearly as expensive, though it's expensive in different ways than a refined storage system is. And it's, I feel like it's much more interesting to do because it's hasn't necessarily been done before in a lot of other people's series and stuff like that. So, what we can do is we can, online. We can push the Shift plus and the Move Items button, and that will start filtering in the items we need for this. And so we can then also do stuff there, and so that should be great. And things are coming for our recipe right here. We can even start making stuff. We need 4 repeaters. By the way, I love this repeater recipe. Super nice. And now we can just move all the items right there. Online detector. Ta-da! And then once these items are done, apparently they're done filtering in, we can just put them back in our insertion point over here, and they should be filtered through pretty quick. And that should be pretty great. Now, online detector, we want this to be active when quixQuery is online. And now it is lit, and so we want this to be extracting when it's awesome, and it is extracting. That is super nice. That is great. Now that is exactly how I wanted the system to work. 12 items at a time. Oh, that's just because we have a backlog right now. However, I still do want this to be extracting like a stack at a time rather than just like, or just like go through when there's a stack rather than when there is just like tiny minuscule amounts. And so if you know of any way of doing that, I would love to hear it. So comment it down below if you want to. And so our online detector right there, that's pretty simple to set up actually. I really like that. That is a great tool. That's from Random Things, by the way, and Random Things has a lot of really cool random things like that in their mod. You would have guessed, right? Random Things, and has a bunch of random things in it. But we are going to be, you know what? Why don't we actually look a little bit more at this? What's going on right here? Back behind here, we just have a simple pipe connection stuff. Now, originally, when you have these transfer pipes hooking up to these, you can see that they automatically connect to the Ender.io item conduits. And so in order to fix that, something that I've done is I just made the extra utilities 2 wrench. and you can right click and ta-da, then there's nothing that is needed to be worried about there, and it looks just fine. Yeah, pretty simple. These are illuminating orbs from the illuminating wand. Pretty simple. And we have a bunch of different things in all of these quantum storage units, including some ores and other stuff like that. Wait, hold up, is that copper ore? I think I have a bunch of extra copper ore that I can send through the system right here. Nice. This is working very well. But for the rest of the episode, oh yeah, I apologize for this episode being a little late because I thought that I had everything all put together and ready to upload, and it turns out that I didn't, and so this episode will be a day late, but I do have a special thing planned. It's coming up here, should be coming out in the next week or two, depending on how long it takes me to finish it off, because it is a little challenging. But you should see that coming out on the channel. It won't replace any of the regular Monday, Wednesday, Friday videos, and so hopefully that should make up for this video being a little late. But for the rest of the episode, I want to talk a little bit about infrastructure, and the infrastructure that we're going to be using to make all of this stuff happen. And so while our water wheels in our dam over here are nice, they are not by any means an endgame solution. We definitely need more power than what these six right? Yeah, 6 water wheels will provide. And we can make more water wheels and to tile them vertically. I think we could even get like 3 rows of that, and so that would bring us up to 18, but even with that, that's not a whole ton. And so we just need to, oh yeah, that's right, forgot about that. I have, these are Industrial Craft 2 filled tin cans. You can eat them. They're pretty good, I guess. But eventually we're going to be using diesel power, and we got our diesel engine right here. However, that is a little ways off because we need to set up an automatic sugarcane farm in addition to the automatic hemp generation that we have going over here. And if you haven't seen this yet, these are long-range breakers from Actually Additions. Long-range breaking stuff, and going into quantum storage units over here, which we eventually actually want to add into our system, our indexed quantum storage system over in there. Now, how are we going to get all the materials to make all this stuff, like the iron ore and stuff? Because in mod packs, you don't mine forever. That's just, you know, a fact of life. You don't always mine. And so, how are we going to generate ores? Well, I actually have something in mind in the Actually Additions mod, and we have a manual right here. And this should be very interesting as well, because we've tried we did the quantum quarry and some of the other options as far as ore generation goes in my single player series. However, we are going to be using Actually Additions to generate our stuff here, and we're going to be using the lens of the miner, I think. Assuming this generates all of the different types of ores we will need to do stuff. Yeah, anyway. And so it uses quite a bit of RF, but it only generates ores, and so we can then that then allows us to be able to like automate other things that we want automated, like stone generation and dirt generation and stuff like that, and then not automate things that we don't need, such as, say, for example, diorite generation or seed generation. Well, actually seeds are nice. I don't know what else we wouldn't want. But anyway, that's what we're going to be using, is the lens of the miner right here. And that should be a lot of fun to try automating, even if it isn't our endgame solution, and if we do end up setting a quantum quarry at some point, it should be a lot of fun to just build a thing around that, because we actually have to trigger it with redstone each time, or set it to automatically go, and then time things around where the laser timing. And so we're going to be revamping this little area right here, making it have like a minecart that comes up and delivers the items to like right here, and then those items then get delivered to our indexed quantum storage system. Okay, that is actually a long name. What do we want to like abbreviate this as? Like indexed quantum storage system, IQSS. To the IQSS. There we go. There we go. The IQSS. That's what we're doing. And so this will be like dug down into the ground a little bit instead of just being a mine shaft way down there. And we'll have our power stuff going in there with the lens of the miner and stuff like that. You have to place. How does this thing work? Well, you place like you place a block of stone in front of it, and hits a block of stone, it will be converted into different overworld ores. A block of netherrack will be converted into nether ores. So if we needed nether quartz, we could generate it like that, or if we needed, say, overworld stuff like iron, gold, diamond, black quartz, you know, lapis, other stuff like that, we could always just put stone there. And so that is definitely an option that I want to look at. And what are we going to be using for ore processing? Well, I really enjoy using mechanism, and since we're not going to be using things that give us pretty much infinite supplies of ores, mechanism will probably be would probably be a wise choice, because it will help us keep up as far as like the number of like metals and stuff we have, even though we don't necessarily have in-game quarrying going on. We just have this little we'll just have this little actually additions laser firing and making ores for us. So hopefully that should work. These cables running everywhere will not be permanent. They will be, yeah, and that needs to be decorated. Well, okay. Let's just, for the rest of this episode, I want to fill this place in with some steel scaffolding, and hopefully that should make it look a little nicer, and yeah, and that should that'll be our little bit of progress in this episode on the dam. I figured that you guys had seen enough of the dam over the last 2 or 3 episodes, and wanted to see something else, and I needed a storage system really bad, and so we got that going. So now we just need to set up the rest of this. We still need to do the rest of this dam. We just need to, we're just gonna like put it off for a little bit and do it in bits and pieces over the next few episodes. It actually turns out that was a lot of steel, my goodness. But I did want to at least get a look at what this would look like and see if that's a good option or not. And so it looks pretty good to me. Tell me what you think about it in the comments if you want to. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I feel like things will start to fall into place once we get the front on this dam right here, and some of the other pieces in their final state. But yeah, it's coming together. It's coming together slowly, but it's coming together. And at some point we'll have to add water to fill this thing up with water. Probably after we put some blocks on the side. But we'll just have to see how things go. But that is all the time I have for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It is probably a little shorter. I don't know. We'll have to see how long it comes out, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.